Welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. I'm Belinda Sandor. I'm your host. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. I'm your host, Belinda Sandor, and for those of you who are joining us for the first time, I am the founder of the VA Connection, where I coach and mentor established and aspiring VAs to create, grow, and scale their virtual assistant businesses. And I work with my students in my free online community, courses, and coaching programs. So come on in, let me know where you are. I would love to hear from you. All right. So today I'm going to be your host for Lessons from the Cockpit, where I'll share weekly tactical and practical information that you can use whether you're just starting out or you've been in business for a while. And I would love to hear where you're coming in from. I see Tristy's here from Montana, so that's awesome. We are streaming everywhere, which is very exciting. We are on Facebook, we are on LinkedIn, we are on Twitter, and we are on YouTube. And if you like what you hear, I want you to click the like button, click the subscribe button if you're on YouTube, but definitely let us know what's going on for you today, where you are, and how you feel about the content. Okay, love, love, love to know. So today we're going to talk about a topic that's near and dear to my heart, which is being easy to work with. It's really an important part of your success as a virtual assistant, to be easy to work with, to create those long-lasting relationships with our clients. So while you're coming in and getting settled and letting me know where you're coming in from, I am going to introduce myself. So this is me and my little delicious daughter, who was actually here yesterday and the day before, which was really nice. And this was us about 13 years ago when I was just starting my VA business. And I started my business at kind of a crazy time. I know that there's never a great time to start, but I think I kind of picked this perfect storm of craziness. So I was a few months shy of my 50th birthday, and like a lot of us, I had expectations for that. At 30, by 30, I wanted to make a certain amount of money. I wanted to be married. I wanted to have a child. 40, I had expectations. And by 50, what's interesting about this is that I had expectations for 50, but I didn't have any for 60. And I think it's because I couldn't really comprehend 60. And I thought that by 50, everything I needed for 60 would be handled or on its way. So when I slid into 50 and I didn't have any of the things that I expected or planned for, I got pretty derailed, right? Because I thought, well, if I don't have them now, I'm never going to have them. And I, really hit that future panic button and went a little crazy, So the thing is I this is what I was expecting. I'm going to be happily married. I will have been saving for retirement. That's going to be on track. I'm going to own a home. It just kind of goes on and on. I would have a job that I loved. And instead, all of that was not true. I had to sell my home because I hadn't been able to pay the mortgage for a year. I had 7 years of back taxes. I had a business that was failing miserably. My marriage was over, and on and on and on. And so there I was, sort of standing in the rubble like, okay, what am I going to do now? But I did know that getting a job wasn't going to cut it. And it wasn't going to cut it for a number of reasons. One, I had been out of the workforce for a while as a business owner, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to get back in the game, where I was when I left. And I didn't want to put myself in a position where I'm working all the time like I used to, but I'm getting like these really small raises and I'm having to sing and dance for somebody. And, I just didn't really want to do that. So what I did was I decided that I would essentially be a temp, but I would go directly. I would go directly to the clients, and that way I can make more money. So if you don't know what a temp is, it's a freelancer, essentially, and you go through an agency, and the agency gets paid a fee by the person who hires you. And so I decided if I went directly, I could make more money and I could have more control over my life. So I thought, I love admin work. I, did it for, decades, my 20s and 30s. And so I thought I'm gonna do that. So I just started telling everyone I knew. And my first client I got at the school bus stop. I'm talking to the dads in the morning, and one of them says, "What's new?" And I tell him my idea. And he said to me, "Oh my gosh, I just went out on my own a month or so ago. I'm drowning in administrative details. I could really use your help. Let's get together this week and talk." And we did. And I started working with him immediately. And that was awesome. And then after that, my next client I got at the wedding, the buffet line of a wedding. So you really don't have to prospect. You don't have to try to figure out like which small business owners need you. Just tell everybody you know. It's much simpler and much easier, and you'll get more traction. All right, good. And so if we fast forward, so my business started in 2010, and it really took off over the last 13 years. I've worked with over 225 clients and made over $1 million. The first year I was in business, I made $70,000. And for the next 10 years, I made at least $100,000 working as a VA from home, doing client work. And all the work that I had to do to shift my life, to make the changes in my mindset, to make the physical changes, where I was living and all the things, it was worth it, because this is what it looks like today. So this is my new husband. We're going to have our anniversary in 13 days, our second wedding anniversary. And we got married, like I said, 2 years ago. And these are our kids, Emily and Greg's 4 boys, David, Charlie, Stephen, and Andy. And this is us on our wedding day. And my life is very different now. It's very different. My finances are handled. They're under control. No more minimum payments, no more massive stress, no more juggling, all the things. And I was able to be there for Emily, as she grew up. And I feel like I can breathe again. There's still everyday life stuff. We have to pay this bill and that bill, and there can be juggling, but it's not the way that it was by any stretch, not at all. So who's ready to jump in and talk about getting started on your business? One thing I do want to say before we go forward is you can start wherever you are. You can start wherever you are. I think that's one of the biggest messages that I want you all to take away from everything we do, because, I've been around people, even recently, who think it's too late, and they thought the same person was telling me it was too late when they were, 40, 50, 60, and so on. And it's never too late to bring something interesting and meaningful into your life. It's never too late. I mean, who thought I would marry the perfect man for me at 60? Like, that was not in the cards, right? A lot of people would have given up on that. But I really wanted it. I really wanted it the way I wanted this business. So let's say hello to everyone who's here. All right. So we said hi to Tristy and Tammy. Hi, Tammy is here from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, and Kat's here from Philadelphia. Hi, Becky. How's it going? Joe Bell is from the Philippines. Angela's from Whidbey Island, and Jessica's here from New Jersey. Hello from Chattanooga to Heather. Christiane is here from Saskatchewan. And someone is here. This is probably so from the Netherlands. This could be 2 people. There are 2 people in the Netherlands right now. And hello. All right, good. Okay, so let's jump in. Oh, and here's Ida. She's in Dallas. That's great. Awesome. Okay. All right. So I attribute a lot of my success to being easy to work with. And I'm going to go into a lot of detail about this. But what it essentially means is that I put my clients' preferences, in front of my own. Now, I'm not talking about getting taken advantage of. I'm not talking about being mistreated. I'm talking about preferences. Okay. So thinking about their own needs first, thinking about here's what it is. Because I'm so versatile, right, and used to working with so many different kinds of people, and my clients might not have that same experience, it's easier for me to do something that maybe takes a couple extra steps than it is for them to figure out how to do it, my way. So that's really what I'm talking about. So I'm going to give you 3 examples, and then we're going to jump into some mindset work and some other information about that. It looks like it's Frederica. So hello, Frederica in the Netherlands. One of our recently graduated VA school students who just joined the VIP is in the Netherlands right now visiting. I think that's where she told me she was. Anyway, all right, here we go. If I need a client's credit card number to buy something for them, I could ask them to fill out my credit card form, right, for my convenience. I could tell them they need to put it in to LastPass. I could tell them a million different ways that I want them to do it, right? I could make up this like whole process about how it has to be done and make them jump through the hoops. Or I can say, what's the easiest way for you to get that to me? Right? Do you see the difference? Because I have worked with people who they want me to, fill out all this information, all these forms. And it's like, why do I need to do that? Well, can I just tell you? And sometimes they want to take a picture of their credit card, or they want to tell you right there, or they want to email you, whatever they're comfortable with. That's what I do. And then I'll just jot it down. And then I have a system where I keep them in LastPass. Okay. Now it's the same thing for clients' passwords. I could ask my clients and require them to sign up for LastPass, but that would cause a lot of trouble because my clients are not usually very technical. And so if they need to set up LastPass and get that all squared away before they could work with me, that's going to put a big delay. Where they don't need LastPass, I need LastPass. Some clients will just hand over all of their passwords. They'll just say, here's my spreadsheet, and then what I do is I just move them into LastPass as I need them. I don't need all of their passwords, right? And so that's the second way, so the first is credit cards. And again, these are just examples. There's a lot of other different, things that can come into play when you're interacting with clients. Now, the other is when a client sends me the text for their email newsletter, they could send it in Word, they could send it in Google Docs. Some of them send it right in the body of an email. And sometimes when they do that, the formatting is off when I put it into Constant Contact, MailChimp, or whatever the platform is. So I could say to them, you have to have it in Word and it has to be in this format, or I could let them work the way they're comfortable and just, copy the newsletter into a text editor, strip out the formatting, and then drop it into MailChimp, which probably adds, 30 seconds, right? So it's not inconvenient for me. And it just solves the problem because some of my clients work on their newsletters in collaboration with their editor, with, their coworkers. And so Google Docs and a Google Doc is the right way to go, right? So because I'm accommodating and flexible, my clients feel that working with me is easy, right? And because one part of our job is to remove the friction, right? To remove the friction, not add to it. And the truth is that the accommodations only make me better because I learn multiple ways of doing things. So when the first time I transferred something from a Google Doc to MailChimp and everything got all messed up, I thought I learned a lot, right? I learned that the style sheet comes over. I Googled a few things to figure out why that happened. I fixed it. And then I learned a valuable lesson about how to solve for the same thing when it happens in other applications. I just think, the style sheet, all of the instructions of how the text should be formatted must have come over with it. And it's conflicting with the style sheet, which is kind of the template, in this other platform. So it's this little incremental learning by running into problems that's so valuable, right? All right. So Angela says, hello, this business is low cost to get started. So it really is not too late and no risk. Easy to get started for sure. Yeah, it really, it doesn't have to cost a lot. And I know there are some people that think that, they need a bunch of tools and all kinds of software applications, and you really don't. You really don't. Now, here's what I want to dive into next. It's really a matter of attitude. Okay. This whole concept of being easy to work with is all about attitude. So I want you to think about your level of communication. And what I mean by that is, you could write an email that says, yeah, what happens is I write my emails and then I go back and I add more words and subtract words. So I spend a couple of minutes. So I could say, here it is. I hope everything's fine with it. Let me know. Or I could say, attached is the contract for your client, Joe. I made all the changes that you requested. I have a question about number 4 on page 3, blah, 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 blah. Please let me know. Right? Very different, very, very, very different. And so you want to you want to be thoughtful about what it says. Does it contain jargon? Like a lot of people, we throw the phrase around discovery call. Clients don't know what that is. They have no idea what are we discovering? You know what I mean? So I used to call them 30-minute consultations. And I think it's okay to talk about them inside our community as a discovery call. But when you say that to a prospect, they probably have no idea. They have no idea. The other thing you can do to be a better communicator is use video. I just had someone send me a video. They were explaining, an issue that they were having. I could see their screen. I could hear their voice. They weren't trying to write it down. And you can use something called Loom, which is free and very useful. So if you're trying to explain something to a client, you don't have to be on camera yourself. Turn on turn the camera on the screen, point things out. You can, explain, give examples, and it can be so helpful for your clients. Now, I want to talk a minute about boundaries because I think being accessible could be confused here, because I am not talking about 24/7 drop and roll every time a client comes to you as an expression of being easy to work with. It's not like that at all. What it is responding to an email, being thoughtful about the communication. Don't send, not sending 20 emails in a row like people do when they panic, with one question at a time as they're working it through, but being thoughtful about whatever the questions are, putting them all in one email and seeing what you can solve for yourself. So it's really about being thoughtful, thinking about it from their point of view. So boundaries are there for you, and they're also there for the client. And there are many ways to keep your boundaries without seeming unhelpful, right? So yesterday I had a client, she had an email problem, and she just started rapid fire emailing me with all these pictures. She wasn't doing what I do, right? And that's fine. Everybody doesn't do it. But I didn't start jumping in and responding to each one. I could see what was happening. I was like, oh, okay, she's upset by this. So let me let her finish, and then I waited a couple of minutes and made sure that I had everything I needed. And then I responded, but she was being reactive, and jumping into a reactive cycle isn't going to help anybody. Right. And it's going to waste time. So then I responded once I figured out what was going on, was able to bring help in, and we're getting it resolved tomorrow. Because what you don't want to do is train your clients that in a non-emergency situation that you're just available all the time. So 13 seconds later, they send you an email and you're right there. You don't want to do that. And if you do it when you're not busy, they're going to expect it when you are busy. So you really want to be mindful of your boundaries and do not expect your clients to kind of uphold them. You're the one, holding the line there. Okay. Also, I want to talk about how you handle your mistakes, which is a little off topic, but I think it's important. We all make mistakes. I make mistakes every single day. And when you make mistakes, when it comes to client work, you want to, when at all possible, you want to tell the client about the mistake before they find it. So if something happened and you're holding your breath thinking maybe they won't notice, bring their attention to it. And and not only apologize for it, but tell them what you're going to do so that doesn't happen again. So if there's something that's a repetitive task like an email newsletter, and you forgot to update this is a really kind of a small thing, but you forgot to update the copyright date at the bottom at the end of the year. What I would then do is next year, on January 1st, I would put a note in my calendar: update copyright on all clients, or in your project management software or something like that. So it's really about owning up to whatever it is, and then putting something in place so that it doesn't happen again. And says, Becky, I learned a lot from website issues. I bet. I'm going to get back to you, Becky. I have some help for you coming. All right. And one last thing I want to talk about is sticking to business. You don't want to be chit-chatting with your clients about everything that happened this weekend. Even if they ask, tell me what you did this weekend. I worked in the yard. We did this, we did that. It was really nice. And stop right there, because they're being polite and it's working hours, and you really do. That's part of being easy to work with, is not inserting your life into theirs, when you have a working relationship. All right. And sometimes you are friends with your clients. And so what I'll say is, if I want to chit chat, I'll say, let's schedule some time, when we can talk. I'd really like to catch up with you. Or if I need to say something quickly at the end of a client call to a friend, I'll say, all right, can I take this off the clock for a minute? Meaning I'm not charging you anymore. And then tell them what it is I need to tell them, but being clear about that helps a lot too. All right. So once again, if you liked what we talked about here, I would love for you to add a comment, a heart, a thumbs up, all the things, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm really excited about the changes we're making over there, and can't wait for you to see them as they roll out. Now, we have a training starting on Monday. So if you are interested in jumping into this field, or actually, let me rephrase that. If you're interested in finding out what this field is about and what you can do in this field, starting from where you are, join me on Monday. We're going to be together live Monday through Friday from noon to 1. There's other things as well. We're going to have a mindset session every day. We're going to have prizes. We're going to have all kinds of things. So definitely go over to vakickstart.com, sign up. Be sure to join the Facebook group. That is really important. If you're not on Facebook, no big deal, but there's some extra stuff there. You'll also get information about the resources page and things like that in emails that are coming to you. So don't worry. But if you can join the Facebook group, go ahead and do that. Okay. So we're going to learn about the services you can offer. We're going to learn to talk about your work. We're going to learn about how to get referrals coming to you without asking. We're going to talk about the systems that you need to run your business. And we're going to talk about, we're going to answer every question that you have about being a VA on Friday. Okay, good. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you so much. I'm Belinda Sandor. I'm going to sign off now, and I'll see you next week at the Kickstart Challenge. Bye-bye.